Hi everybody, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I'm here for Queen & Co. today, and I have the cutest brand new kit to show you. It's called Bug Jar, and you can create the most adorable mason jars filled with lightning bugs, bumblebees, butterflies, ladybugs, you name it. They have the cutest little stamps and dies. So let me show you everything that comes in this kit. First of all, it coordinates with the mason jar kit from the Love Jar kit. And so that mason jar die can be used with those foam shakers. Then you get a whole new set of stamps and dies. And the stamps are a 4x6 sheet. You get a ton of little bugs, sentiments, that little mason jar cover, and the string as well. You get tons of little toppings, lots of different colors, everything from ladybugs to butterflies and bumblebees, lots of little bugs inside. So I'm going to create a little scene here, and to do that I wanted to create a sky background. So I'm using some Distress Oxide ink. Sorry, I don't know why the camera was having trouble keeping focus. I must have been moving around too much. Anyway, I'm using a Distress blending brush. I find it very easy to blend with these brushes. And now I'm going to create a second panel for the grass. And this, I am using a Distress blending brush as well, and just another color of Distress Oxide ink. I'll have all the colors linked down below. I added a little bit of Twisted Citron, just a little bit of depth to that green color. I felt like it was just a little too heavy at first. Now I've grabbed a piece of pattern paper, and I'm going to stamp with some Distress Oxide inks. I'm going to stamp the mason jar cover and the little string ties. And I'm going to stamp the cover in Fossilized Amber and the string ties in Spiced Marmalade. I'm using the coordinating dies, and I'm going to line them up over my stamped images. And then I'm just going to temporarily tape them down with some Therm purple tape and run them through my die cut machine. I have all the little bug images here lined up in my Misty stamping tool, and I'm going to stamp them on some white cardstock using Gina K's AMALGAM ink, which, depending on what kind of coloring you want to use, whether it's colored pencils or watercolor or Copic markers, it's perfect for any of those. I'm also going to stamp the sentiment in the same black ink on a little cloud border there, and put that to the side when I'm ready to put my card together. So these images are very tiny, so I didn't do any blending. I literally just colored them in, so you could reuse any markers that you have. Again, I temporarily adhered them with Therm purple tape and ran them through my Sizzix machine, and this will cut everything out and have our little outlines. And I'm also going to cut out that mason jar, this time out of gray cardstock. Now it's time to put everything together. I have 2 layers of grass, and I want to slip the shaker in between the two. So I'm going to remove the backing, place it underneath that first layer of grass, but ahead of the second layer. So you'll see in a second when I do that. I'm just going to do the clouds first to make sure that the mason jar is low enough on the card. So once that's adhered and I can see where that mason jar lid is going to go, and it will fit with those clouds, I'm going to adhere the strings to the mason jar lid with Memory Runner XL, which is just a tape runner. I'm going to fill my shaker foam shape there with the ladybugs, and then I'm going to use the die cut acetate, which comes die cut specifically for the foam shape. I'm going to cover this all up with that gray piece of cardstock that I cut with that mason jar die, and put the little mason jar topper on top. And now it's time to play with the little bugs. So I just wanted to put a few here and there just to embellish the card and create my scene. So I have a little ant at the bottom, a bumblebee is going to be flying by, I also have a butterfly. So these are just really fun little images to play with and create little scenes with. And you can see that the sentiment says, "Be my love bug." So I thought this was perfect with the little bumblebee and the little bugs on there. To make this shaker card, I'm going to create a circular card first. So I have an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock folded in half. I'm going to put a large circle die and hang it off the fold at the top so it won't cut through the fold where the die is not on the cardstock. And that's why you put it over the fold like that. I'm going to put some anti-static powder tool and use some embossing ink to stamp the cover of the mason jar and the strings this time, because I want to stamp them on the pattern paper and I want them to really stand out. So I'm going to use some white embossing powder here. I just wanted to double check one of the sentiments that I wanted to use to see if it would fit inside that mason jar lid, and it really fits perfectly. I think that's what these smaller sentiments are made for. So I stamped that in the embossing ink as well, and now I'm covering it all with white embossing powder and heat setting that, and I think that just looks so adorable with the little sentiment right inside the cover. I'm going to cover up my circle card with a piece of pattern paper and layer it with another piece of pattern paper. I'm going to peel off the backing of my foam shape and adhere it to my card. I'm going to pour in my little toppings from the different bugs there. I have a couple of different butterflies inside this one, and some of those little leaves as well. Then I peel off the top protective layer and lay down the acetate that creates the shaker. To customize it, I cut out that mason jar out of a piece of pattern paper. And I'm going to put that on top with some tape runner and then adhere the little top as well. And once again, the most fun part is to adhere those little bugs. Once you've stamped and colored and die cut them all out, they have given you tons to play with. All right, so that's 2 quick and easy shaker cards made with the brand new and super, super cute bug jar kit. I hope you will check it out. All of the products I used are linked down below so you can see them. If you're interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel, you can do that here. You can check out my blog for more information, and I'll have a few other videos that you might be interested here as well. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a wonderful day.